It's Podraza. I'm not making any of this up. I would like you in the future not to speak to my son. This is my conclusion. Unless somebody writes me, picks up a telephone, on an email, that is, as I said, I tell the truth. And I'm going to tell you that is where I'm owed direct conversation. Why would you give me a 203 number when it's Westerly, Massachusetts, I'm told, that he lives in? Now, that's circumspect. You skirt that issue. How do I know you've talked to him personally? When I have got these crazy phone calls that rings at night when I rest and lay down to rest or de-escalate for the day. I do rest in the night. I'm still talked about masturbating in here. I'm doing none of that. The question mark is Massachusetts and why that took place. Nobody says it out loud. That is in their head. That is it. Anybody who has any of that in their lives have thought of somebody else. Now, that is finished, and I will not do it. I do not do it, and I don't want that lied about. So who does it is their own issue. I have my Catholicism in here, my time with my music on a Sunday. Usually I know some gospel type of things, Selah, some Protestant and some Catholic. Now, that is my conclusion. I can afford nothing else, and that is it. I don't understand why you said that, because I checked whether there's a Westerly, I don't know whether that's a Rhode Island, that's a Massachusetts address. You gave me a Connecticut address. If it's a Westerly or Westfield, whatever it is, it might be, excuse me, I've got the hiccups. It might be in Rhode Island also. I'm non-manipulative. I don't want to discuss the first husband. I don't want to discuss anything more on this subject out loud because it has been voyeured. This is nobody's business. And I made a mistake myself by giving you background on my first husband. I don't know what went on. There is a closed file on that, and that didn't because. Furthermore, I want no more problems from some wife, either post-traumatic herself or lying, that I'm involved with somebody's husband. That has to be either written to me by letter, emailed, or picked up a phone, no matter what status of wealth there is if the individual wants to speak to me. I tried to cease this hell. Now I have to call a restaurant on something also. Now that I don't want any more throwing me out of environments due to something or other, period. I have a lot of respect for ability, for what the individual is on the individual its own thinking, period. Now, I think this is a summary that I have to say. Nothing makes sense to me at all that you should be involved in this in the first place. Don't even tell me about that diagnosis. I cannot agree with you on that at all. What am I saying now? If you are a psychiatrist, how is that correct? I'd have to leave you with that question. Have a good holiday. I returned your call. I gave you that respect. That's all I have to say, because I had phone calls off the chart. I was connected with Sedgley's place. I had wrong numbers. I had all sorts of things. I don't even know what these individuals do at night. That's their own business. I happen to be in here. I'm 74, and I want to be in at night. It literally should be through recommendation of somebody I've trusted anyway, because there is excellent acting skills here, excellent musicians, etc. And I do have to worry about myself unless there is a tangibility in my life. That male cannot be naive. He has to be good, but no way naive. My father was good, in no way naive, nor was my mother naive. She was good. Have a good day. And I'm not your. Yours is me, myself, to myself. That's not even healthy. What we're going to is a savvy mate also on this. He's savvy, you can rest assured. What took place, I'm not sure about the whole situation. This is not naive stuff. I don't want a thing to do with naive in the extent that I have listened to. Nobody in the family has ever been naive. Now, I do feel you have to call those Podrazas, and I want an answer on that. I want an answer out loud. Now, I'm not angry with you. The conversation with your husband is fine. I'm delighted you will visit. I'm delighted you have a resurrection of your honeymoon. That is beautiful and part of life and should be. I want you to know this is not fun. And if it's gaming, it's sick to me. And that is how I've felt it for a very long time. You say it logically, that's fine. But I have to know the impact, and I do, of the repercussion of it. We have much to talk about on that to get to the end of this, which is a solid mate who has refinement but is majorly savvy on this. That's where we're going to. And I don't mind our conversations at all. I enjoy the tangibility. You have a good evening. And I love that boy. And I want to speak to that daughter again. You have a good evening. Don't worry about returning a phone call tonight. You have a life in the evening. Podraza's calling that darn earnestly major importance. No Podraza is supposed to be not returning a phone call. There were two blood, Ernest and Raymond, Earnestly and Raymond. Now, they're blood, they're Podrazas. I have to have an answer on that. That's a major betrayal. When blood does not deal with blood. Good evening. We know that Podrazas definitively have to be dealt with. And remember, Poles shanghaied my cousin, Jack. He's dead. And lied and shanghaied him. I had Sluzarzik in high school. It was good, no good. Caused me no end of problems. You see, I see a little black and blue because of the history of bad Poles. Joe Alabicki didn't. He was tied with me, and he was a C student, and I was not that. And he was a problem later on also. Now, Jack was railroaded by a Pole down the street on Barbancell Road. My father went to visit him in prison. He ended up in the psychiatric ward. And he finally tried to help him get a job. Helen visited also. He got out of there, and the Lancios did not help. She betrayed Jack and had key swapping. Jack would not sleep with somebody else's wife. She had an affair. The girl is not his child. It is some teacher's child. And he treated her with the same respect because it's Joyce's daughter. Now, the two boys were Jack and Delancio, Joyce's. Now, she had a responsibility to find out where those boys went to. One is somewhere, probably in a gutter somewhere. Jack was trying to give him a garage to run. And one boy is dead, young, around the 40s. The other is somewhere. And I can't get that boy, and I have no mail to find out where that boy is located. I can't put him in rehab, and I don't know whether he's too far gone to be in it. Nobody knows where he's at. The Fresnos try to find him, and they've had a heartache in the family on some issue on that. And they are good people, good family, and I'm the eldest, and they're standing by me. They're a wonderful family. I'm the eldest living now. Her father, Fresno's father and mother are dead. He died. He made it till later in life, in his 90s, but they're dead, and I'm the eldest. So they're standing by me on this. Those darn Podrazas, I will have a conference call, because I'll fight it out with a wife on that if I have to, or that Sashelsky, and that's what I do.